I'm surprised at the result, but I'm not surprised. As a woman of color, I was so hopeful that a mixed-race woman married to a Jewish guy could be elected president of this country.
Identity politics.
I think that it had nothing to do with policy. I think this was a referendum of cultural resentment in this country.
What policies did your candidate provide? Any moment she was given the mic to say her policies, she did not step up. She did not answer any questions about herself. She didn't answer any questions about her campaign. She didn't say how she was different than Biden. Biden has been in power for the last 12 of the last 16 years. Biden himself has been in office for 12 of the last 16 years. 2 terms as vice president, 1 term as the president of the United States. And you're saying you're no different than him. That is bullshit. She had no policies to stand on. She was a female, yes, but she was not a female that we can vote for. The popular vote cannot go through a female if she does not have any talking points of her own, if she is only fed talking points from the media, from the corporate elites, from donors. These donors have so much stake in the fact that the Democratic machine has been in power for so long. They want to keep them in power. They want to keep those regulations tucked so they can sell their fake meat, and their goods and their services without regulation. They want to weaponize every government agency against anyone that doesn't agree with them.
Well, I think it. Your candidate win, then Kieran.
That's what Democrats do. They want to weaponize every government agency against Donald Trump to persecute him, to prosecute him, to shoot him. Because you know that was an inside job. There's no way that one kid could have shot that bullet that close range at Trump. These government agencies were weaponized by the Democratic machine. And also, these donors and these corporate elites and the Hollywood elites and whoever else you want to bundle in with them have been fed talking points and have been told that the Democratic goal for the next 8+ years was to immigrate people in mass, millions and millions of people in mass, so they can inject more people into swing states. If hundreds of thousands, if millions of people are immigrated into the United States and given a path to naturalization, they will eventually vote blue because they are getting food stamps, they are getting housing, they are getting their rent paid, they are getting freedom that they didn't experience in their country, and they're now able to immigrate their loved ones. And it proves a point that Democrats have been in power for 12 of the last 16 years, but it's easier to hop the border or get on a plane and stay here illegally on a visa than it is to naturalize or come here legally. If you put in your immigration papers like my wife did, it would take years. But if you came here illegally, you're set. You get food stamps, you get rent paid, you get a bunch of benefits, you get a sex change for free.
Nothing to do with whether or not we won. My point is, we can't. You're going to get in a time machine and go back 4 years.
The vice president win if the economy was so great?
That's not the point I'm making.
So
the point. Don't look at me like that.
What's the point?
The point that I'm trying to make is that where we were in 2017 and 2018, we can't just get in a time machine and go back.
My point is, your message didn't resonate.
I said that.
And I think to try to pretend and paint a picture, and Bakari, I get your points in terms of the charts. I get it. I'm a numbers guy. But most people are saying, I get the numbers. I don't have a 401k. I'm not invested in the stock market.
I was just saying.
You know what I'm going to do when Kamala Harris wins?
What?
I'm going to get pregnant and then have like 50 abortions.
Oh my.
What the fuck? See, no one's taking away her rights to abortions. Most states have it set to 12-week term. So if you go past 12 weeks, then the question becomes how safe it is. How safe is it for you to have that baby? Does it ever become unsafe for the patient? If it becomes unsafe for the patient will be informed. The patient will have a decision to make after 12 weeks. Before 12 weeks, do whatever you want. Most states have it so. Some states have 6 weeks. Some states have 8 weeks. But the majority of the states, since Roe v. Wade was abolished, set it to 12 weeks.
Oh my God. But I want...
So if she wants to be a murderer, a mass murderer, she can do so, even though I do not agree with it. She can get pregnant 50 times right now and abort the baby within 12 weeks.
Babies.
But abort.
All right.
night, guys. It's time to go to bed.
Which is crazy that someone that insane can do that and not be held responsible.
None of us are stressed about the election, right?
In a Democratic or Republican state, they can do that, which is insane. That she said that, and that is a possibility. She can kill 50 different fetuses.
We all are gonna just go have the best night's sleep of our lives, aren't we?
Well, Donald Trump is now our 47th president of the United States of America. This election was not even close, which I find odd considering Kamala Harris's rallies.
What?
However, how can that compete when you have Elon Musk paying $1 million per day to encourage people to vote for Donald Trump? Personally, I'm disgusted by that. I'm disgusted enough to delete my X account. I'm disgusted enough to never order a Tesla as long as I shall live. I want to take this moment to congratulate those of you who...
So how is it different than promising subsidiaries and food stamps and government aid to minority communities when for a fact you don't do that? You don't provide that many subsidiaries to minority communities. You provide them to immigrants. You hurt the minority communities as a Democratic Party. But you use the government funding to incentivize these communities to vote for you en masse. That is bullshit. The Democratic Party has been doing this for ages. They have been in power for 12 of the last 16 years, and they have been using the government subsidies to entice voters. And look at the people who co-signed the Democratic Party. You have nothing but pedophiles, rapists, child traffickers, human traffickers, women batterers. You have nothing but the most disgusting people endorsing Kamala, like Jennifer Lopez. She has been with P. Diddy for 4+ years, and she did not once report him for any of the shit he did.
Voted for Donald Trump, which was the overwhelming majority of Americans. You chose to vote for a dictatorship, and that is what you will get. America is no longer the land of the free. You have chosen...
No, we took back our country from a state a state that was lopsided, that was only fed talking points from one source, from the Hollywood elites, from the music industry, from the corporate entities that want to feed their talking points so they can have that party stay in power for more than 12 of the last 16 years and keep having that power and keep having those regulations denied so they can sell us fake meat, sell us bullshit energy, batteries, nonsense. When we have stuff we can do here, we want to be an exporter now. We want to build factories. We want to build infrastructure for us. We want to start fracking. We want to start drilling for oil. We have a great source of oil here. We can export. We can make money off of it. We can put tariffs on imported goods and make sure factories have incentives to come back to the United States and build the middle class and give more jobs to the middle class, to the working individual, so that we don't have to hunt for jobs and be out of jobs anymore.
By siding with Donald Trump to throw our United States Constitution and our United States flag in the garbage.
Who's doing that?
Personally, I am embarrassed.
I fly my flag high.
I am ashamed to call myself an American. In fact, I no longer call myself an American.
So
go to Canada. Won. Canada will accept you. No, they won't, because they have immigration policy. Actually, they will not take you in.
And honestly, I would usually say be humble, but that shit. We've been called garbage. We've been called fascist. We've been called racist. We've literally been called subhuman pieces of shit.
And we are still called that even though we have won the popular vote. It doesn't matter. We can win the popular vote all we want. They still control Hollywood elites. They still control more than 80% of all media. We have won the internet. We have won Twitter. We have won Facebook. We have won some sort of semblance of free media online. But they still control the news outlets, the television networks, the Hollywood movies, the Hollywood Disney shows, Disney Plus. You can see what all the Disney left-wing bullshit they've been pushing, they control most of that shit. And they will continue controlling that, so people like the previous person will get fed bullshit talking points.
It's fucking done. He won the popular vote. He won the Electoral College. We won the Senate. We won the House. And that big...
The only way we can stand up to that media conglomerate and those people, those Hollywood elites, is to make videos like this, to voice our opinions. This guy is doing exactly what we need to do.
The red mirage everybody was talking about, turns out it was a fucking wave. With all the extra money I'm going to have under a Trump administration, I think I'm going to go buy a kayak so I can go up this fucking river of liberal tears. There are straight up women that are filing for divorce from their husbands this morning, that are leaving their boyfriends over this fucking election. That's derangement. I saw another video of a lady saying, oh, what do I do now? What do I do now? You guys have been scaring me about Project 2025 for the last year. No, nobody's been scaring you.
No one said anything about Project 25. That was not a talking point of the Republican campaign. That was not a talking point of anyone that was running for office. That was only a negative talking point brought up from the Democratic campaign. They brought it out of nowhere.
You've been brainwashed. Today, ladies and gentlemen, is a good fucking day. It is a good fucking day, and I
Great
feel
day.
good. I know
Great
there's a
day.
lot of people that don't feel good, but honestly, fuck 'em. And now that we're going to have 4 beautiful years of prosperity, now what we need to focus on is J.D. Vance.
J.D. Vance. You know what would be better than J.D. Vance? And I'm not saying this to cater to a demographic. What about a Republican female? What about a Republican female president or vice president? We should look into that. Just so we can shut them up, because that's all they want to talk about, the female right. Women this, women that, abortions, the female body. That was not what the Republican campaign tried to attack. We're not attacking female bodies. You can have abortions. Just keep it under 12 weeks. You can do your transgender surgeries. Just don't do them to kids. Don't do it to anyone under 18. Especially don't do it without the specific consent of parents.